Hey, ¿qué pasa, Calexico? Welcome back to the podcast. Like always, I want to thank my sponsors before I start. I want to thank my anchor sponsors, Camilo, Sergio, Jake. Also want to thank Dents Border for sponsoring the podcast. Also want to thank Sergio's Tacos and Hotdogs, serving the Imperial Valley, Yuma, and San Diego counties with amazing Mexicali style hot dogs and taquizas. Contact them at 760-562-0057. I'll look for them on Facebook. Also want to thank Castillo Bookkeeping for sponsoring the podcast and David Costello. Today I have a returning guest. And it's funny because every time we meet is in a different place. The first time we met at my house, you were my first guest. The second time we met at Calexico Brewing Company, you brought Penelope that day, remember? And then the third time we met at Brownies.
Hey, that sounds bad. You know, I brought my daughter to a brewery, but it
was off hours. It was closed. And then we met at Brownies. And that one we cut into two because we talked for a long time. So like this is going to be your fifth episode on. So my guest today is Mr. Gil Rebollar, Mr. President of the Brawley Elementary School District. Congratulations.
Yeah, I was worried that I was going to get skipped over. There's all kinds of shenanigans going on locally. So I was like, hey, am I going to become I don't know. No, but, your first episode, no sponsors. The next one is David Costello. And now you just listed, about 5-6 of them. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm really grateful that they've been able to, people are supporting the podcast. They're enjoying it. And they're seeing the benefit of sponsoring, a local podcast. More people are listening to it, and it helps me and it helps them, and it helps me I'm doing a giveaway today for Pinky's Hot Dogs, so follow me on Instagram, and because I'll be doing more, and it's because of the sponsors.
Because your time is money, but also equipment, and I know firsthand, right, from back when I had my small town news, that it ain't cheap.
Mm-hmm.
You want a good product, you're gonna have to put in money. So it's really great that you're finding sponsors, because they're just gonna help you grow, because you're committed, you're passionate, and I'm excited to see what you're gonna do with some of these with these sponsors you have.
Yeah, for sure. And being a nerd, and when it comes to like the audio stuff and this, I always want to have not the best, but what I can afford. And having sponsors is really gonna help better the quality of the podcast. I already have something that I bought with my sponsorship money that I'm really gonna benefit once the pandemic is over and we're able to meet. It's going to be more easy for me to carry and record better audio and stuff like that. So I'm really, really, really thankful for everybody that's been sponsoring the podcast. And we only have a short time, but there's so many things I want to talk to you about.
We said 30 minutes, but we'll probably go longer, man.
Yeah, for sure. First of all, like I said, you're the president of the Brawley Elementary School District. Congratulations. It's crazy, how long you've come from, running your campaign to what you're doing now, because you're not only involved in, the school district part. I've seen you, come to board meetings, city council meetings. You're at the county, but it's crazy now that, you're the president. And did you ever imagine you were going to have, number one, did you ever imagine we were reliving through a pandemic? Number two, that you were going to have so many, hands on the pots where, you're in the educational part, the county. And then, something that I always think about you is the fact that, your parents are small business owners. So, whatever affects them, affects you as well. So, you have all these perspectives when it comes to the pandemic, closures, mandates, all these things that are going on.
Always heavily managed. That's why I can't sleep. That's why I have to go for runs every night. Just no. But I guess, you said, do I ever imagine? No. No. Even, I put a picture up of, from 10 years ago when me and Holly were at Steve Aoki in Mexicali, a rave. And about in December of 2010, I was 20 and she was 20, and we were both 20. And we were there with actually Andrew Arevalo was also there.
Oh, really? Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, that picture I put, it's cropped, but if I widen it, Andrew's in the background. I mean, like I said, we won't go way back. But if you had asked me just 10 years ago if I'd even be a public servant, let alone a public official, elected official, no. Even But no, even yesterday, I work for the air district. I'm on loan right now with the health department, but I'm still helping. So I'm working, essentially between two departments. And we had a big hearing on the Salton Sea, and 7 hours. And so I was there manning the logistics of it, and I had to dip out and go to the school board meeting. And, this whole week was crazy. It's just a really wild week. So I don't prepare any speech, usually, and me, me. I like to talk. I like to prepare statements. I like to wax poetically whenever I get the chance, not just like on a political stage, but the comedic stage as well, as but I didn't have anything. So I just went and, just spoke, but it is tough right now. I know I'm president and it's a celebration but I mean, families are still struggling, right? Parents are juggling work, their child's education, all in the house, not just the education, but their health of themselves, their loved ones. It's a real tough time. And so, it's kind of bittersweet becoming president at this time, but we're going to get through it. We're all everything happens for a reason. And so, I guess not just 10 years to now, but beyond, everything's led up to me. Everything happened the way it was supposed to happen for me to be president of the school board. And I have to take advantage of that. And I'm excited for what we'll do. We do have a new school board member, Mr. Jose Luis Pereira, who's a teacher at the high school, as well as a parent. And going back to his perspective, he talked about I'm a public employee. I'm a public official. I spent my whole life, though, working in a small business with my family, their restaurants, Brownies, and Town Pump. And I was in sixth grade bussing tables. And so, waiting on tables in high school and then managing the restaurants after high school. So I've spent my life and the restaurant industry is tough. It's not easy. People, everything costs, you get that side, even that side, little side of ranch, that's money to make the ranch, money for the plastic, money for the covering, money, even the time it takes to throw it away and the garbage and the trash bag. So it's a tough industry that, that's helped me bring perspective on the struggles that a lot of small local businesses face, not just during the crisis, but even before. So, all these perspectives help me. And I do a lot of I've just seen the books. And I got a shelf over there that I'm almost done reading every single book on. A lot of reading instilled from when I was younger. So I try to keep as many perspectives as possible. And then once I make up my mind, though, I'm stubborn and I fight and I get passionate about things. But I think, I think there might be a misconception that I'm not open-minded somewhat, but I am. But then once I get my research, my data and formulate it, and I kind of come to a conclusion, I stick with it pretty heavy, but I'm always flexible and open to new ideas and new things. But I also do my homework. Like I really believe in research and reading and philosophies and whatnot. So I'm just someone who constantly likes to learn. And you talked about too, not just get my campaign to now, but even before with the podcast. And I think people have seen me in the Valley grow up. I was just talking to someone today, like people have seen me grow up. I was like the podcaster. I was saying some crazy stuff. Yeah. I'm sure eventually it'll haunt me. They'll find old audio files or me on stage saying some crazy things that'll come back to ruin me. But I think it's helped people see me grow from this kind of wild child podcaster to now an elected official, a president of an elected board, because I've grown. Like I know that. I tell people that, being elected on the school board helped me see a whole different perspective in our community of Brawley and the Valley and the struggles many families face. Yeah. And so I know people say, get elected to the school board as a stepping stone for others. I think school boards are still more important than any other board, but I think it is, if someone wants to go higher, to do start a school board, because it gives you a first-hand perspective on your families, your kids, and it just opens your eyes to like on a much deeper level of your community than I think a city council or any other board. So it's been a journey. It's been a wild couple of years, but it's also been just a wild year in general with this one. And so and I've going back to perspective as a parent of an 8-year-old, so I've seen the struggles that she goes through. You know, she's an only child, so she hasn't seen her friends. And so I guess the bad thing is that she hasn't seen her friends, but I've also spent more time with her. You know, Holly spent more time with her. So, you know, I was busy before this. I mean, I'm still busy now, obviously, but I was even way busier before this. And so I wasn't really home a lot, to be honest. I'd leave at 7:30 in the morning and come back 8, 9, 10 at night, because meetings, sometimes in El Centro, sometimes in Calexico, sometimes in Heber, sometimes in Brawley, you know, but things were going on. And sometimes I wouldn't come home, and I'd come home and she'd be asleep, or Holly would be asleep or getting ready for bed. So it'd be like, dang, the whole day not seeing them. So this kind of, I don't want to say silver light, trying to look at the bright side of things during these past 9 months is I've really, I think, reconnected somewhat with my own family. Mm-hmm. So, but it is a struggle, and I get it, and I understand. It's kind of been a whole COVID coaster, right? Or some days I'm like, oh, I'm exercising more, I'm reading more, and then like the next hour I'm like, you know, I have an existential crisis on just what's tomorrow going to bring, right? You know, so yeah, I've grown up before everyone, I think, in this valley. Which is really cool.
Even for me, that I've known you for my podcast is 3 years old, and I knew you probably like a year before that. So like in these 4 years that I've known you, you know, I've seen, you know, the change. Even like I remember when you started your campaign, I kept telling people, you know what, you know, he's different. Like he's not, you know, I see him like change. Like you can tell, like when we recorded that episode when you were running your campaign, you know, I noticed a change like right away. Like, you know, he's serious. You know, he's got a, you know, his mindset, like he knows what he wants to do. And yeah, like you, like it was to me, it was like weird, because it was like instantly, like you went from Gil the podcaster to like, I'm not doing the podcast, I'm running for the Brawley Elementary School District. And, you know, you were serious from then on. And you know, you've kept that, you know, that attitude, that perspective.
Yeah,
and
I mean, it is serious, you know, to be responsible for not just a budget of a school district, but I mean, of our children, of our, you know, community's kids, and my own daughter. And so, yeah, no, I did get serious. It was time to get a little serious, and I still joke around. I still have my fun, but you know, like I said, just kind of had to grow up. And there's some people who still see me as a still wild guy, and that's fine. I mean, eventually I think my actions will speak louder than anything I've said or did in the past that may have offended or hurt someone. But hey, you know, I said those things, I did those things, but here I am now, and I'm willing to work with everyone. Like I just saw someone right now on the city council here in Brawley. Obviously, I was on Tuesday. I'm very passionate about the substance treatment center, and I saw a council member who lives down the street, and I was walking back home, and he's like, "Oh, you all right? We good?" I was like, "Yeah, man. I come in peace, man. Like I know there's a time and place, and you know, maybe in the past I might have, you know, held grudges and been, you know, stubborn, and you know, but I was like, no, we're good, man. We believe different things, and you know, it's unfortunate, but hey, we're gonna have to work together. We still live down the street from me. Come on, dude.
Yeah. And I think that's something that I kind of you know, learned through this, especially during this election season, because it wasn't weird, like, you know, as a country, like the election wasn't like just weird for the country. It was weird like locally, especially here in Calexico. It was like super so many candidates, so many different perspectives, and even now that, you know, people are elected and they're running their city council meetings and stuff like that. I was watching I think it was Thursday night. I went to bed like at 3 because I was watching the meeting. I was like,
city council, the Calexico?
Yeah, I was so hooked on it. I was like, dude. But one thing I do want to mention, and hopefully somebody from the city is listening, they need to fix the audio, dude. Like I went to bed hearing this hum on my because I was wearing my headphones. So it was like I went to bed like hearing the hum. So we need to fix that. But yeah,
it's popping off again, man. It's 17 all over?
Yeah. I was telling Alex Brangel that, you know, at least they're gonna give us something else to think about other than COVID. You know, like they're gonna have their own, you know.
And I feel like it's somewhat of productive discourse. Like they're discussing, I think, issues that it's not just petty drama. I think there's some substance of some of the issues they're discussing, which I think in the past you saw some pettiness that wasn't really
Yeah.
like good for the city. But this stuff I think is really getting discussion on.
I mean, there's a mix of both, but
Yeah.
but yeah, overall, it's productive conversation, but yeah, that's something I learned, the fact that we all have different opinions, and just because we have different opinions doesn't mean we can't either agree or disagree with each other and not be friends. At the end of the day, like, yeah, we don't agree in the same things, but we're still friends. Like that's not gonna.
Yeah. We're still residents of our community. Like I said, the guy lives right like one block away. Like, I'm really gonna be upset at someone who lives in my same street. Like,
I mean,
I'm not that.
And there's obviously, when it comes to making decisions or choices where it's gonna it's obvious that it's gonna affect me or the community negatively, and that's where maybe there might be something that might affect our relationship. But overall, when it's little things that aren't.
Yeah, and it's not that there's a time and place. When I'm at that meeting on an item, I might say some things because that's where I'm supposed to say them, right? Like when I'm at that city council meeting and I'm passionate about it, that's where I should let it all out. I shouldn't let it all out on Facebook or a comment. Like, I need to let it out where it matters.
Yeah.
And I felt like with that issue, the treatment center, I let it all out. And so when I see the guy down the street, it's not like I have nothing more to say or do. I let it all out, and we're cool. And I learned that too, being on the board, because I've been on the side of been the lone dissenting vote, and on 4 other votes that went the opposite way. And yeah, I was like, ooh, like, what am I not saying things right, or what's going on? But it helped me, it humbled me, gave me perspective, and just made me realize, hey, sometimes people think different, and there's disagreements, but there's a time, there's a place for that. And so, I really, I don't know, that issue, I said what I had to say. I did what I had to do where I had to do it. And it is what it is.
Yeah.
But
and going back to the election, you were a big part of, couple young candidates, getting elected. And
I called this. Then I go back to the interviews we did. I said, it's going to take one candidate, young guy or young girl, woman, to beat an established, political person. And it's going to open the floodgates. And you saw that with JB, and you saw that with Raul, in Calexico.
Yeah. And even in El Centro, Andrew and Carlos. Yeah. And you were a big part of Katie, JB.
Oh, Katie too, and yeah.
Did they reach out to you before deciding, or JB?
No, I've known them, and Andrew, Katie, JB, who else?
Carlos.
I didn't know Carlos. I didn't know Carlos before, but I met him during it. Same with Eric. No, dude, and so people have hit me up like, can I hire you to help me with my campaign? I'm like, dude, I don't charge. Like, I don't even.
Well, you should.
I just do. If I believe in you and I want to help, then you got my help. You got my support, and I'll do what I can to help. But yeah, it's funny. People think that because I guess maybe there are people in our valley that are kind of like political guns for hire, and they'll, whichever candidate gives them that check, they'll vouch for. But me, if I believe in you, and if I believe in you, I'm gonna go all out, and I don't want anything in return other than do your work, do a good job, and.
But at the end of the day, that could be a career in itself. There are people that are political advisors that run campaigns and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I really just believe in I really want our valley to thrive. I think it has so much potential. And I just want good people there, whether I agree or not. I just want people in there who are going to be passionate, be advocates, push the boundaries, challenge authority, not maybe cross the line, but get close to it, shake things up a bit. I think we all. Do
you feel that there's a need for, younger people to have a seat on the table? And do you feel that there's also a need to have like a balance, like, a couple young people and
I think new people, right? And new could be young or old. You've seen some older people that have ran that bring fresh perspective, and there's younger people that do the same. And so, I just think we need to have as many people as possible involved in the democratic process of running. I think the more candidates, the better. No one should run unopposed. I think the more candidates, the more perspectives, the more ability. Like Calexico, you got a lot, so sometimes it can get drowned out with so many. But I think that's a good thing. But yeah, I think who knows? And going back to, I'm starting to feel like the old guy, the veterano, just old news. I'm trying to I see Andrew getting 1,000 likes on just a selfie, and I'm posting me advocating for those who need help, and I get like 2 likes. I'm like, am I just becoming old news now? So no, but yeah, no, I think it's exciting to see so many different young and old and just different people running and want to be a voice, and we need to encourage that. I don't think we do enough, and I get it. Sometimes there's some little establishments and little cliques, right, that don't want to lose some of their power and influence. That's okay. So, no, but I like it. I like what we're seeing with some of the changes in our boards across the valley. It's a good thing. Change is always good. It's never easy. Change is always uncomfortable, whether on a big scale or even personally. Think about when you started fasting. I bet that was pretty uncomfortable, right? Just having a change in your diet. And so if simple change like that is hard for us personally, imagine a systemic or just a much change on a grander level with many people involved. It's going to be uncomfortable. And so it is what it is, but hey, things are going to happen. Things are going to change. And we're going to get through this pandemic stronger.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And I feel that, even though that, there are obviously going to be some struggles, financially to most of the cities in the county, including the county, it's gonna give people like a clean slate to kind of like start from zero, because we're gonna be at zero. The budget's gonna be, but it's gonna help these people that maybe all these new elected officials kind of show their giddiness to like bring a budget from zero to back to black. And
they have to do less with more, unfortunately, but that's that's a way to become more efficient. So when those reserves or those funds are back to pre-pandemic levels, you're able to utilize your funding more effectively, right? And so no, but it's going to be a struggle. The small business, I see with my parents, from getting closed to then having to change that whole business model, to then the outdoor dining, which really revitalized their business, it really brought back business, and then to be shut down again and their struggles. So, I see the small family businesses, the mom and pop shops, really struggling. I know there's support from the county and some of the cities. So, that's good to see, but it's going to be tough, and it's going to be up to us as leaders, elected officials, and as community leaders like yourself to advocate for our small local businesses, support them in any way. Yesterday at our board meeting, they brought us food, and it was KFC. All right, we get food. And KFC, and I like KFC. Nothing bad or wrong. I'm not trying to knock KFC, but it's like this should come from like a small business. Our food should be, I know, again, maybe last minute they're trying to just boom, where to go. And so I was like, maybe I should maybe I'll propose a resolution, right? Draft up a resolution that any food provided to our school board has to come from a small family owned business within the city of Brawley. And that, it won't, make or break a place, but at least shows our support and our commitment to our community, I don't know. And I'm not trying to knock my school district.
Yeah.
I know, but they're just trying to get food. Hey, I get it. And I haven't even shared this. I'm barely sharing with you right now. I haven't shared it with them. So it's just my brain's always going. My brain's always running on how to make things better and help out others. And so I think that's something we're going dark in December, but when we come back, try to at least show our community that the school district, the Brawley Elementary School District, will do what we can to support you.
Yeah, that's for sure. And it's it recycles. It stays in the community, and it you
want our money, our dollars to bounce. Mm-hmm. You want the dollar I make, I want it to bounce as many times as possible within Brawley, within the valley, because once it bounces out, it probably ain't coming back.
Yeah.
So I've got to make that dollars bounce so people can get each of their share of that dollar or those dollars as it moves out, as it eventually more than likely moves out of our valley.
Yeah. You had an opportunity to talk to, legend,
my compa Eddie.
Yeah. Mr. Edward James Olmos. Can you tell us a little about how that happened? I know you're part of the, what is it? It's a
Youth Cinema Project. So the Youth Cinema Project is a program at our junior high that was really brought by our other trustee, Mando Padilla, who's my cousin, my primo. His brother is Jose Padilla, who is the executive director of the California Rural Legal Assistance. So he's also my primo too. And through those connections, we met. I guess they helped connect the Mondo and the school with that project. That's Edward James Olmos' project, Youth Cinema Project. And so a few years ago, they got that implemented. And really it's through filmmaking, helping kids have a voice. And through teamwork, through collaboration, they do write the script, they produce their own film. And, Mr. Olmos will say, it's not to make movie stars. Like people think, oh, wait, no, he's like, it's trying to give our kids a voice. It's making our kids feel like empowered, that they can create something. They create a story that deserves to be heard. And I think that's, but also, I think that class has some of the highest test scores in the school. So it's effective. It's shown to work. And I think it's empowering to, because that's what we have. That's what I have, is my voice. And whether written or whether spoken, you can take away all my titles. You can take away everything. The only thing I have that I think is worth anything is my voice that I can carry no matter what. Because even I was thinking like, I'm not gonna lie, I play out different scenarios after seeing all these all these boards try to jump and with the presidents and mayorships. I was like, what if my school board tries to skip me? How would I respond? And I was like, you know what? If I was basing this off nothing. I was just, thought experiment. And I was like, if they try to pass me over as president, what would I was like, you know what? I respond and say, listen, families are struggling. Our community is hurting. You think I care about being president? You think I probably, I know who I am. I'm a leader and I don't need a title to, help our students and families and staff. So I wouldn't care, but I did get president. So I was nominated. But I was thinking, but that's how Youth Cinema Project got to where it's about. We also just got a golden ballot. Brawley Elementary School District got our first ever golden ballot award from the California School Boards Association, which I was very proud of. I said, we're going to get a golden ballot. When I'm here, I want to say we're going to get a golden ballot. So we did the application and we were fortunate enough to be recognized for it. But the interview with him came about. I'm on the Latino School Boards Association. I'm the treasurer right now, secretary before. And so we have an annual conference. Usually it's in San Diego, in Del Mar, but with everything, we have to be virtual. And so we started putting things together and I was like, well, I have a Youth Cinema Project. I can reach out, see if we can get a representative from the organization. And we did. And we were hoping to get maybe the director, Rafael Agustin, or anyone from there just to share. And Mr. Olmos would be willing. And we're like, okay. And no cost, out of his time. And we're going to hold some fireside chats, they're like, Gil, you help coordinate it. This is your school project. Do you want to do the interview? And I was like, I guess if no one wants to, but they're like, you know what, Gil, you do all these interviews they're watching, they follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and they're seeing my interviews with candidates. Like you kind of, it's right up your alley. It's in your school. Like it makes sense if you do the interview. And I was like, oh, for sure. And so, they coordinated all that. The first time I actually spoke with them was that morning on Zoom, very briefly, just hi, hello, Mr. All, good morning. And then, so once we went live right there, that was the first time really just talking. That was our first time ever discussing. So I was a little starstruck a bit, but it went really well. I was really grateful for the opportunity to do that. I trip out still. I was just, I spoke to Mr. Edward James almost for 5 minutes, and I kept it going. I was worried, what if I, just run out of things? Like, what if it's just odd? And but no, it went really well. And he started off recognizing Brawley Elementary, and then he finished. The coolest part was he finished recognizing Cesar Guzman, who unfortunately didn't win his election, but he was on our school board since 1976, I think, on and off. But he helps people get citizenship here in Brawley. He's a really great guy. He also lives down the street from me. This street is just Political Avenue right here on West K in Brawley. But yeah, and we had a weird relationship too at first because he lived down the street from me, and I'd always drive by and I didn't know him, nothing. And then the first time at the school, when I got sworn in 2018, he's like, "Oh, neighbor, blah blah blah," and I was like, and I told him, I went off like, "Bro, you never talked to me before I got elected." I was like, I'm just being real. He was like, "Oh, I know, but I didn't know who you were." And I'm just kidding, But from there, man, we grew to work together so well. He helped me learn so much. The Latino school boards, in I think that first year we went to the conference, and they were doing nominations for board of directors. And he's like, "You can nominate he's like, "You nominate me and I'll nominate you. And we'll both try to get on that." And we did. He went up and did his speech, and I went up and did mine, and we both didn't get the votes. We both got rejected by the Latino School Boards Association. And but after I got off, after the whole nominations, a couple of board members say, "Hey, we really like what you said. I think it's just unfortunate, you don't know anyone here. It's your first year school board member. You don't know anyone." And, it's politics. You got to get those votes. And so you just went up blind and but we still like what you had to say. So we like to be involved. And so I stayed involved. And then one of the secretary left and said, are you interested in serving as secretary? So I got appointed to secretary. And then this past year I ran for treasurer, and I got elected through hundreds of school board members across the state. And I'm an officer of the Latino school boards. And as treasurer, I'm responsible for our funding, our annual, we do a big conference, usually in Del Mar. We're putting on some regional summits. We put on back in February, we had a regional summit, first time ever in Brawley. And we'll be doing some more virtual things, a lot of advocacy efforts. We really want to get our organization and voice heard throughout the state. We have great leadership with Jorge Pacheco Jr. He's a teacher I was a school board member. Deborah Batista Zavala, who works for, I believe, LA Unified, but is also a trustee. And and Jose Magana, who's our secretary now. So we have a really great leadership across the state, and I'm learning from them. I'm just a small town dude, man, and from Brawley, and so it's his last few years. But going back, like with our change of school board with Caesar and whatnot, I don't even know. Oh yeah, Youth Cinema Project, right? So that's how that is how I got to interview Edward James Olmos.
Yeah. It comes down to that, but we're at 30 minutes already, and there's a couple.
We're good. We're good with the flow. We're good with the flow.
So 2020 has been a horrible year. What's like the takeaways you're taking away from this? Like, what is it that you? I guess the positive of
That's a heavy question. What's who would have thought that? Who would have thought in January it's like, hey, break down 2020? I would have had to take a deep breath and be like. Even yesterday I had a Zoom with our teacher. I don't know if you were at Calexico Brewery, maybe last winter, and Jose Cital had Victor Pacheco just perform stand-up comedy in the back.
No, I didn't go that time.
Yeah, so he had a comedy show and had Victor Pacheco, and he's a comedian. Hold up.
Yeah.
This little guy. Sorry about that.
Yeah, my dog does the same thing. Like he'll hear the UPS like on the corner, and she'll bark like for no reason. Like it's not even in our house. It's like in the corner.
Oh, I have people just walking by just across the street, and my dog's so territorial. It's like, he's barking, and he just said, get away from my house. It's like, anyways, we're talking about Victor, so we'll cut off.
I'm talking about, because we asked you about 2020, and then you.
Oh, yeah. And so last night a Zoom comedy show for my teachers, the Brawley teachers, and I got Victor Pacheco, who's a comedian from the Bay Area. And I was kind of talking with the teachers about, back in February, PLN, like a leadership training with about 20 or so teachers in Phoenix. And I think they go on annual kind of conference like that. This is the first time that a trustee ever went. And, so I want to see what are we, not what are we spending funds on, but also I want to experience what their experience and help me going back to perspectives. It was really great. I connected with a lot of the teachers and really just help me understand things better. And, at the end of the last day of the conference, the administration went as well, got us all together in a conference room, and we all went up and spoke. And I gave a speech to them, really open about things. And I was really excited about what, where Brawley was going. And so I was like, if you'd have asked me February how things are going to go for the rest of the year, I was like, I've been excited. And now it's tough, and so, so yeah, 2020 has just been a really weird, hard year. I don't think anyone, can deny that. No matter where you were at, some people had it harder than others, but I think overall everyone's just struggled physically, mentally, financially, spiritually even. So it's been tough, I think. And this winter is kind of I feel like a cold, long winter. And I feel like those 6 degrees of separation of the virus is getting closer and closer, I think, to many of us, where now we know more and more people. Before it was like, I heard so-and-so and who had so-and-so. Now it's like, no, I know them directly. And I know a few people I've known that have lost their lives or gotten real sick. So it's been tough, but I think with, we'll get through it. The year's almost over. I think come January 1st, I think people will feel like, I think it'll give us kind of a second win, I think, of feeling like we got through 2020, and it's like, like it's going to be tough now, but we got through that. Like that's 2021. Let's look ahead.
Yeah. And I hope that people don't, when 2021 comes in, I hope they don't expect, change right away,
No, I think it's just, I hope they just think like, hey, we got through 2020. Like, even if we have to do the same things that we're doing, make some of the same sacrifices that we're doing, at least we can say, that year's over. Like that, we kind of, so, but it's tough. It really is. I mean, even I felt lost as a school board member on what I can do. Right. And, because I do want to provide autonomy to not just administrators, but teachers, but also, to hold some accountability on making sure that our kids are being taught and our families are being informed. And, and that also goes to the county. I've worked between different departments during all this. When the emergency was called, I got a text saying, hey, report to the Office of Emergency Services in Heber. And so I went from the Air District and working out of the Office of Emergency Services. And then shortly after that, I went over to the CEO's office and worked there. Then I went back to the Air District. And then now I'm working with the health department. So I've had 4 different workspaces in the 4 different work environments, 4 different groups of people in the past 9 months, just trying to help our county, and just gives perspective. Going back to, so I've gotten all these perspectives, and I see what the county's doing, and then I also see how my family's struggling, and then I also see how our families, our families, our school, our children's families are struggling. So yeah, I've seen all these different perspectives, and it's been difficult to juggle all that and try to how to best to move forward. And But I think that's why the kind of helping out all these other candidates and being kind of involved helps build that network that where I'm slacking off or I feel like I can't really do anything. I can learn from others. I can't do this in my district, or it's out of the realm of a school's function or school board's function. Maybe you can help push this forward. Here's an idea that you can carry on into your board or your organization. So, these networks just haven't helped me get better informed and give me ideas, but also to push some of the ideas I have out that I might not be able to implement or just kickstart.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And, like to me, it's like I've been thinking now, it's been hard for us, but, I think about, was it the Spanish flu or was it 1819? What was it? I don't want to say the wrong date, but, how hard it was for them, if we're struggling, imagine them, like they don't have the same technology we have,
might have been technology has also played a big part on, I think, a lot of our mental health and the impacts negative. Maybe, they were able to come together on a smaller, more community based. I feel like technology has really isolated a lot of us. I think it was Facebook and I'm guilty of it. I use it all and I realize I have to somewhat to stay connected, but it's a bit of a double-edged sword. And it's so, like I said, false information, misinformation, fighting, pettiness, drama. It's a tool that can be used effectively, but man, sometimes you got to cut through a lot of stuff to.
What I learned to use during the pandemic on Facebook was this button called unfriend and snooze. I've been unfriending a lot of people. I've been snoozing a lot of people, and I'm telling people like, hey man, if you don't, or just like my wife and my sister-in-law and stuff like that. Like whenever they tell me, oh, I saw this in my article. I'm like, who did you see it from? Like who sent it to you? Oh, so you know what? Snooze him or unfriend him because it's a bunch of BS. He's just making people getting you scared.
Yeah, I just don't comment. I don't do the comment. I'll post and then I'll leave my phone number. Like if you really want to go back and forth, we can talk. I rather that's more effective than, and I've seen, that kind of how one time I was at a meeting and I saw someone fighting with someone on Facebook and they were just like that. And then that's how I used to, that's how I look, that's me, and so seeing that help me and just, if someone wants to, I have people, right, who sometimes on the comment, and I used to do that too. I used to fight with people in the comments. So, but now when I see some people try to poke at me in some of the comments, and I know what they're trying to do, but give me a call. Like my phone number's here. My phone number's there. You can text me, call me, and we'll talk. And it's not like, oh, we'll talk. We'll conversate like human beings, like how we're, so we should be communicating, not through this, but just
talking. And it's something that I talked to Tomas Oliva and it's my first time meeting him, and I was like just impressed, how knowledgeable he is and how his demeanor is like super calm and like really centered. And something he told me that kind of like I've been trying to live by is he told me you're never gonna change somebody's mind. So like if you don't have if you have a disagreement, just don't talk to the person trying to change their mind. Try to make him understand what your opinion or your thoughts is, and that's it. Leave it at that. And that's something that I've been I picked up from him, and I'm trying to really do, because I'm gonna be honest. There was times even with friends and family members where I would go at it, because they weren't thinking the same way I was thinking, and I was like, even my wife was like, you got to stop that because it's not healthy.
It's toxic. It's not good. Yeah, right. I mean, me and honestly, the person I probably argue with the most is my mom. We're probably more alike than, because I think we're just really alike. Even though I don't want to admit that, but I am. And we argue a lot, and but we get through. But you're right. It's all about explaining your position and your beliefs rather than, and that's the same thing like going back to that treatment center, is I put those clips out because I know some people are like, why is Gil doesn't care about downtown because he's doing, no, like, let me explain. You might take some time, I think I did one was like 11-minute long speech, another was like 9 minutes. Yeah, it might take 20 minutes of your day, but you'll get a better perspective on why I'm passionate. If you don't want to take those 20 minutes, then don't come at me. Like, don't, if you're not going to educate yourself on or take the time and respect where I stand, yeah, then I shouldn't, right, have the same respect for you and have your time. But I'll, but it's, yeah, that's why I like to put out things. There's some controversial stuff that that I might take a stand on or whatnot, but I'm going to give you a reason why. And I don't believe in hiding from, and then going back to like my past. Like, I always put like Throwback Thursdays, me partying and clubbing. And, I wasn't embarrassed when I did those things. Why should I be embarrassed about sharing about them now?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, nothing stopped me from, raging, and so, if I wasn't embarrassed then, I shouldn't just be embarrassed about simply sharing about it now. I think it gives perspective on, I've made many mistakes and I still do. I'm far from perfect. But I'm, like I said, I'm always willing to learn. I mean, I probably learn more from my mistakes than anything else, and I still make them all the time.
and I think that's something that I like about you is that you talk about your mistakes and because people like make it seem like they're perfect, and nobody's perfect, and
well, I am, but
but the thing is, like, we learn from, that's how we learn,
yeah,
it's like George Lopez used to say, like, whenever you used to hurt yourself or whatever, and your parents would be like, see, so you learn, that's how you learn.
Right. Exactly. And I man, it's just, yeah, it is a trip going, I'm president of my school board here, when I almost didn't graduate high school. I always say that, and I'm smart. I was smart in high school. I was smart. And I had to read, and out of all the classes I failed was English, and here I'm reading every day. I read, multiple books at a time, I can show you my books, man. And I read and I take notes, and I'm like critiquing the author, and yet here I am, senior in high school, and I failed my first semester of English language art, and those are my parents. It was me. It was just me simply, just not listening, doing my own thing, and honestly, I'm still the same, just in a different. I still do what I want. I still say what I want to say. Just
more productive,
more productively, and doing it for our community.
Yeah.
I think I didn't really care about our community back then. I cared about myself. Mm-hmm. I was very selfish. I was a spoiled kid, and things happen that gave me perspective. I'm very fortunate to even just be here. There's multiple times that, I could have been arrested. I don't know. My life could have gone a whole different way. Many times. Sure. And just fortunate to.
And the last question, and trying to end it in like on a good note and positive and fun, and not politics or 2020. Well, this is gonna be a little bit 2020-ish because it's kind of crazy. But I know you talked about fights and UFC and all this. What are your thoughts on all these YouTubers challenging?
Oh man, you know what? Let them get their money. I don't know. I watched Mike Tyson and Roy Jones, but I also watched it for the Jake Paul fight. I got the Logan Paul fight back when he fought KSI the first time. It was $10, I think. I bought that, and I got the second one. And it's entertainment. These YouTubers are just doing it for the clout. I got to give it up to them on their marketing. They're getting their name out there, and it's. I see right through it. I see it. It's probably all. I was just talking to someone. I know Jake Paul's calling out Conor McGregor. I bet that's coordinated. I bet he's on the phone with Conor. Hey, I'm gonna leak the DM. I'm just gonna follow your wife and say this. And I think it's all scripted. I think it's all fake.
Does it seem like WWE vibe-ish to you?
Yeah. But you know what? When they're gonna get in that ring, I think they're really gonna fight. I think in all this, but. I mean, Nate Robinson got knocked out cold.
Dude, I mean, I didn't expect that. I thought, he's an athlete. He's going to, I don't know. I thought it was going to go way differently, but it was crazy. I was like, man, that he looked like Pacquiao when Marquez knocked him out. You know when he.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He looked. Yeah. No. Yeah. But Jake Paul. I mean, you got to give it up to. He's got a little hand. He's got hands. You know, he's got hands, and he brought it. But yeah, I thought Nate was just. I thought Nate's a grown man. Nate's just gonna humble this kid. What? Nate's just gonna. Nate's. I just figured Nate. Nate's gonna do this without being confident and knowing that he can handle it.
Yeah, he's a professional athlete. Like what the?
I know that's the fight. I know at the end of the day it's a fight. It is a fight. But I just thought Nate would bring it, and but can't play boxing. They say.
And the thing is, like, yeah, I mean, like you said, kudos to who was it, Jake? Yeah, Jake.
Jake, yeah.
I always mistake them, but Jake, I mean, it's not easy to knock somebody out like Nate Robinson got knocked out. It looks easy, but to knock him out cold it's.
Oh yeah, you gotta have skill to knock someone out with those gloves, and I mean that's why I like fighting. Watching fight, I don't like fighting. I have glasses. I've been in one fight in my life, and I didn't win it. I was 15. I think there's a video out there. That's right. So, because it takes a different kind of. It's so much mental as well. Like you have to have confidence, but you also have some intelligence. But it's also that unpredictability, that one punch can just change it. You can train all you want in one punch. But it's all kinds of different things coming together. And it's also just real. It's just then and there, you're not like watch like football or basketball. It's like the ref or outside or this and that. But this one is just those two locked in a cage or in a ring, and they got to go at it, and winner will come out. And so, and
to me, it's like after a while, after seeing some boxing matches where like it was clear like the match was stolen by the judges, I kind of like gave up on boxing. So this is kind of like giving me a chance to maybe come back to boxing, even though it's a little bit more. Not as professional as watching a professional box match or whatever. It's giving me a chance to kind of like come back to the sport and hope somebody gets knocked out, and hopefully somebody knocks out.
Yeah, it's entertaining, man. It's So these YouTubers, let them. They're making money, and it's
a lot of money.
Yeah, and then a lot of money could go towards better things. I'm still spending. I bought it. But yeah, that's it. Yeah, I love combat sports. I could talk to you about boxing, UFC. But who do you think? So who do you think Jake's gonna fight next?
I mean, I hope it's Connor. That way, I'm hoping he gets knocked out. I don't know, but I just want somebody to fight him that will kind of like teach him a lesson that boxing is not a joke.
Well, yeah, Deji, right? When he fought him, Deji put up a pretty good fight. Yeah. I guess Jake just you gotta give it up to Jake.
At the end of the day, yeah, he's been training. I mean, you gotta give him that. Because there was a huge difference between Keji and Nate. But I mean, to come and say like, "Oh, I'm gonna be a professional now." This is, I don't know.
And I don't know how much, like I said, it's just theater, and how much of him is really believing that, and him just wanting attention. But you never know. I'll watch it. Whoever he fights, I'll probably watch it. I'm guilty. That's my little guilty pleasure of this whole. Quarantine is watching Jake Paul, the Paul brothers fight. Man, what are the odds?
I mean, I guess it kind of puts 2020 in like perspective, right? These YouTubers boxing or people paying money to watch YouTubers box.
I think it also shows like on a I guess media level that it's like, so there's like television, and there's YouTubers, there's even TikTokers, right? And these different mediums that have their very distinct audience. If I show my mom Logan Paul or Jake Paul, who the hell is that? But look at the followings they have.
Yeah.
You know, if I same way my daughter shows me TikTokers, like, who? Charlie D'Amelio? What? You know? Oh, she has hundreds of millions. I don't know. She's how, you know, and so it's like it's showing these really different audiences and maybe even divisions in our society among people who watch. I watch YouTube. You know, I come on my TV and it's YouTube and going through videos, and then my daughter watches. I've been on the TikTok though. I follow my daughter on TikTok. You know, hers is private, but I still monitor it. But I'm on TikTok looking at recipes, man. Food TikTok is pretty cool. Like, you know, and I don't watch TV. I don't have cable. I wouldn't even know, but you know, I know people who do and watch it. And
yeah, so I don't have cable, and I pay for all these other platforms like Disney Plus and Hulu and Netflix, and most of the times I'm watching YouTube. I was like, man, should I cancel all these subscriptions? Or
I heard it's Netflix. I got HBO Max. I'm really looking forward to the Wonder Woman movie. I don't know why I didn't even watch the first Wonder Woman movie, but this upcoming one on Christmas, I'm probably gonna watch. So, but yeah, YouTube. I think that's where like Jake Paul car did like 1 million buys, which is ridiculous number. You know, that's UFC. There's very few UFC events that have done over 1 million pay-per-view buys. But what you saw was like Mike Tyson and Roy Jones getting the older generation to come in, because that was interesting. And you got the Jake Paul who brought in a completely new, different audience. So these two audiences. So I think you'll probably see some more of these mergers of maybe even television stars or old and new, and movie stars doing these kind of cross promotion and branding with YouTubers and TikTokers and trying to just get as big an audience as possible. So
somebody mentioned maybe even getting Mario Lopez to fight one of the Logan brothers.
Oh yeah, 80-year-old Mario Lopez who looks 20.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, I said something like, I posted something like, I can't believe Mario Lopez is 77 years old. There's a picture of him, and he reshared it.
Really?
I was like, oh dang, yeah, he shared it. LOL, he reshared on his story.
That's crazy.
So that's my connection with Mario Lopez. Yeah, but him, I mean,
I think ever since you talked to Eddie, your buddy Eddie, like, you know.
Yeah, I'm in the Hollywood end, man.
Your cloud game has gone like.
Who else want to talk? Call him right now, man. No, but yeah, I think you're gonna see more of these cross kind of things. But hey, it's entertainment. It gives us something to watch on the weekends, because you know my weekends are here at home, and the UFC and boxing have really just kept my Saturday nights
a bit interesting.
Yeah, because Holly works at night. You know, she works at the restaurant, you know, and so it's just me and Penelope. And
maybe you should become a TikToker with your daughter.
You know what? She's funny. She is hilarious. She's just like me. But I keep it private. I keep her TikTok private just because, you know, I'm a parent, and we tell her though as she gets older. And I told her right now, like, because she's, dude, I got TikTok and I put a few videos out. It's pretty hard. Like, it's not, I guess I would say it's not user friendly, but I think just because for the first time I felt like when I had a video game and I gave my parents a controller and I'm like, oh, just press A, X, B, and it's like, I'm like, yeah, X is a jump, A is a this, and they'd be struggling. I'm like, I felt like that with TikTok. Like, I felt like, how do you get this template? What the heck? Why is it just 10 seconds? You know, and I felt for the first time somewhat like that generational gap. Yeah. But I told her she's really good. She does edits. She does all that stuff. And I said, listen, your TikTok's private. Just continue to make TikToks just for your private account, but get better, right? Try to make your transitions, try to make your editing, try to make things really great. And so when you're at the age where we'll make it public, when you make these videos, we're gonna have really good videos. And so, and also just try to tell, like, it's not about likes. Like, just make videos, because sometimes I think kids can be like, I want these likes. Oh, Charlie D'Amelio has 100 million followers, or so and so, and it gives them this like false. You know, it's not good for that. You don't need outer recognition. That's coming from a politician, right? So, you know, just do it for yourself. Like, make a video that it's funny that we'll share it with like we have a group. I have a group text with my family, that I'll like share it. Like do it for us, do it for your family. Just do it for yourself. Like that, you made a great, funny video. And so when the time comes when you're at the age, we'll make it public. You're going to have really great TikToks that are going to go viral and they're going to be great. But even if you don't become a TikToker star, at least you know that your videos were, of quality.
Yeah, and she has fun at the end of the day.
Yeah, and she has fun. She loves, her TikToks. Wow, we get a kick out of everything. Some TikTok, like I wish I could make it public. If I made this, you'd go viral. But yeah, just trying to. I know Edward James we differed a bit on TikTok. He didn't really feel like it was but hey, you know what? Any way a kid can express themselves we got to take it and we got to make the most of it. Mm-hmm. So I like TikTok. I think there's good in everything, right? There's good in everything, and there's bad in everything too. Yeah, but I like TikTok food, TikTok recipes, man, and there's some iPhone hacks that I've gotten from there. I've tried to do videos, but I don't know. I can't. It's hard, man.
Yeah. I've also, I see the interest in TikTok, like I can probably use TikTok to help my podcast, but I don't know. Like you said, like I feel like I'm too old for that. Like especially when I see like, I mean, you're still young, but because you're younger than me, you probably 30, right? You're not 30, right?
30.
30. Yeah. I'm almost 40. So when I see people like my age, like on TikTok, I'm like, man, what the heck is that guy? He's too old for TikTok. So like, that's how I feel like when I think I tried it a couple of times and I saw it. I was like, nah.
Yeah, I did a few. And I felt weird. Like this isn't but I've made a few for my daughter and just try to be funny. But yeah, I felt like, nah, this isn't my crowd. This isn't my audience, I guess. Unless I have, I felt like it'd be kind of not pandering, right? But like not who I am. I'm not a TikToker. I guess I like Instagram. Instagram is like my favorite. Facebook, I put stuff, but Facebook's really weird right now. Yeah. And I like Instagram. I feel like Instagram is for us. Like you're a millennial, right? You're 30. You're millennial. That's millennial. Yeah. I feel like Instagram's for millennials, Facebook's for the boomers, and then Twitter's for the Zoomers. I think that's maybe, and generally speaking, I think you watch some people, but I don't know. A lot of my friends, I feel like are on Instagram. I went to school with, they're on Instagram and I follow them there. And I feel like, I don't know, I just feel a little bit more loose on Instagram.
Yeah.
I don't have to be so serious. Facebook, I think I'm like, oh man, people, not I do it for the comments, but I feel like Instagram, it's felt cooler.
You know what? Like, I like Twitch. I watch a lot of Twitch streamers, especially the ones that are kind of like playing a game, but not playing a game because they're just there for, chat, but they're playing a game just to, occupy time. But, they'll have debates and I follow this guy named Destiny and then Hassan Piker, I think his name is.
Hassan Piker.
I follow him. And a couple of the people that I follow on Twitch, and I like it. I like the fact, they're reacting to the news or stuff like that. So like I've been trying to do Twitch sometimes. I'll go live on Twitch and play video games, and when people join, we'll talk. But I feel that that's a good platform when you're not, because sometimes like when you go on Instagram and you're kind of waiting for people to join in, and you're like and since you have a limited time, like I think it's an hour. Twitch is unlimited. It can be there like for days and. And that's why I like about Twitch, the fact that you could be there playing a game and people will come in and out and talk. And that's where AOC and all these other Twitch streamers are playing Among Us. So yeah, I'm trying to maybe get into Twitch becoming more of a weekly thing for me. Like maybe once a week, go on there and
maybe I'll do that. I got the Xbox. I know it's got the app to allow something like that. Yeah. That'd be cool. Yeah, if you do, let me know. Let me know how, like, the accessibility and functions of that. That'd be cool. Yeah. We can Twitch together. We Twitchers.
Yeah. All right, Gil. Well, I'll let you go. We
went over the half hour. I think we went the hour. I think we went with we were intended to do. So.
Yeah, but I mean, earlier today, my wife was like, "Oh, what are you guys gonna talk about?" I'm like, you know what? With Gil, it's super easy because, I can write down a couple words and, throw them at him and we'll go for days. but I really enjoy talking to you. We hadn't talk. We go back and forth on Instagram, like, and we'll do the Instagram lives every so often. But we're focused on what happened on the week or the day. But I kind of wanted to get a little bit of your whole perspective of this year and the things that you've been doing, because I know you've been super busy. I even told you, like, hey, what's up? Are you mad at me because I haven't heard from you in a while? Because
yeah, even like the Instagram live I was doing and the videos, and then just things get really busy, man. Things just got really hectic for me professionally, and then through the county, through the school, and just through with like my family. I mean, it's been
and it's hard to do both things, work and do with the family, and try to be active on social media, like inform the community. It's time consuming. Like right now we took an hour away from you, and if you go on Instagram live, it's another hour, and it's time consuming. Even though people enjoy watching it, but it's they don't like see the time that you as a
it's just time. And not only that, like there's a lot of information on it. I sometimes cognizant of I'm putting too much out. Like, am I just muddying? Am I worrying more, or am I just right? No, it's been wild. I think we'll be all right. We'll be all right.
Yeah.
I know the vaccine is out and it's getting distributed, and however you feel, it's just one step towards getting back to what we were accustomed to. But it's gonna be a while. But at least there's a light, But it's dark right now. It's really dark right now. We're in a cold, dark winter tunnel. Yeah. But at least we can see that light, and I think Christmas around the corner, a new year. I think mentally it'll help. Like I said, I don't think don't want people to forget and just go out. Oh no, but I think mentally it'll be like, like a kind of mental like relief in a way.
Like
of just,
like, this is
2020 is not only like maybe give some people strength that hey, we got through that. Like we got through this really tough year, and because March, who would have thought? March 17th, I have I think that's when schools were announced. I have the newspaper, right? Because
you
put me
saved
on the
it.
front page where I'm stressed out. And March 17th is when, and March 13th was when I went to Julio Ved's comedy show in Mexicali. And that was the last time I went and watched comedy. Even last night, Victor was a comedian. Zoom comedy ain't the same, man, and that's an art form that I look forward to it being brought back. After this.
That was something I wanted to talk to you about too. It was stand up.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I got time.
Like I've been thinking, like once this is over, like I'm gonna try and do it at least one more time, because it's been such a crazy year that even though like for a while like I dreaded going back on stage, like now it's like I kind of like need that adrenaline shot of being on stage and bombing or not bombing, but I miss that just
feel
and you did this Zoom stand up, like, and it wasn't for you.
No, it was funny. It was good, but it just ain't the same. I'm just a comedian, savant. I don't know, comedian, just but it wasn't. It's nothing like being in a room with people and laughing and connecting. It's there's nothing like that being when you're on stage and you're hitting right, but also when you're just in the audience and you're all paying attention. I think the last comedy show was the one in Mexicali, but even before that, me and Holly watched Jeremy Piven in San Diego, and even the last movie we watched in a theater was Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And there's nothing like being among people, listening and laughing, and like you're all sharing that experience. And not only that, because I have a respect for I think comedy is the hardest form of public speaking. I know I go up and make public comments at meetings and even on my board, and that's easy compared to going up on a stage and trying to make strangers laugh, right? And because I can go up and speak at a meeting about, I'll have my facts in order. I'll have what points I got to get across. And whether they agree with it or not, I know, they're valid and they're backed up and I worked on them. Whereas comedy, I can have everything written, I can have everything planned, but if the audience ain't feeling it, or if I'm just not confident, it's not my night or just something.
Yeah, and then you get immediate reaction, like if you go up to like a city council meeting, like you probably the next day you'll hear like, his ideas weren't, or you see something in the paper or whatever. But, in stand-up is like, it's immediate, like it's right.
Yeah. And the reaction we get, and it's immediate reaction. Even no reaction is bad. Like when it's quiet, like they might not, it's the toughest thing. And I tell people, if you want to get better at public speaking, do stand-up comedy. Just go to open mic and try it out. And once you do that, you can public speak. You can, but yeah, it's the hardest. It's poetry. It's an art. It's, it needs to be held up in that. Stand-up comedy is held up in that regard of art. And so, yeah, I was even thinking after this, have like a backyard comedy at my house.
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking as well.
That, but just something, because I miss it. I like, I really miss it. Yeah. I've watched some comedians. I've actually trying to like get better at Spanish, and so I watch like Spanish comedy. Carlos Vallarta, Francisco Escamilla, I think,
Franco
Escamilla, and then I watched on HBO Max. I don't know if you have HBO Max, but there's a show. It's really some really cool stuff. There's a show called Los Spookies. It's produced by Fred Armisen, and it's Spanish. You really like it. You'll really like it. It's hilarious. It's probably the only show I've watched. I've binge watched this year was Los Spookies, and it's hilarious. I think it's filmed in Colombia.
You read it down.
Yeah, Los Spookies, Sespookys, and it's just a group of friends that they get hired to put on fake paranormal activities to like scare people, or just they're for hire, paranormal activity people for hire, and it's just it's ridiculous, it's funny.
But it's in Spanish.
It's in Spanish. Yeah, it's in Spanish. But the comedian, some of the actors there also know English. So it's like a Spanish comedy, but they're bilingual. Julio Torres, I think, is on there. He's a hilarious comedian from New York. And and Fred Armisen's from Saturday Night Live. So I think it's American produced, but in Spanish language and filmed in Colombia. And it's hilarious. Yeah, I'd say do like the HBO Max. I think they're doing like a 7-day trial. Do that. Do it right now. Or do it.
I'll probably do it during the week. That way I can watch Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we're set. Are we 7? Yeah, you can do it right now. I still have a day to watch Wonder Woman. But yeah, wait till you get closer. You have more days and watch lots of Spookies on. It's 30-minute episodes, so you can think like 6 episodes. It's only one season, but it got renewed. But yeah, so I've been watching Spanish comedy to try to help me. That's something I need to get better at. And even when, say, Mexico is able to do some comedy, I'll go over there and get with the guys. And I still keep up contact with them. Asael, Julio Ver, just say what's going on, how are things. And it's cool. It's weird. I remember going in March to the.
I think you invited me, and you told me you were gonna. I was like, no, I think it was because it was during my birthday weekend. Because my birthday was the 12th, so I was busy with family, or whatever. That's why I didn't go. But yeah, and that's something that I was talking to Michael Garcia was the fact that the last time I ate at a restaurant was Chili's, and it was for my birthday. It was March 12th. And I remember that, we had talked about going to that event that Chicali Sandra had in Mexicali.
Yeah, it was, and I remember, I was like joking with Holly, like, oh, I'm not going to be allowed to cross back because of COVID and it's going to shut down. And the next day, I think the schools got shut down. But I remember going, and I'm not that I'm laughing about school, but I thought that coincidence. I'm not making light.
Yeah.
I was the newspaper picture, right? It shows me. Yeah, I remember coming back, and I was like, it was like midnight. It was like probably 1. And it's funny. I always joke because like every time I go to one of those comedy shows and I cross back, like, what were we doing in Mexicali? I was like, oh, comedy show. And like, what were you doing in Mexicali? I'm like, comedy show. Like, what do you like? The agents never believe me. And I'm sorry. There's some people who come to Mexicali at 1 a.m. for comedy.
Yeah. So, yeah, you should go.
But I remember I stopped by Walmart and like the whole parking lot was empty and there's carts just all across the parking lot. And it looked like something out of an apocalyptic movie, you know? And then I go inside and I see all the water's gone, all the toilet paper gone. And for some reason I bought like canned corn and canned food. They're like, I was like, it got me scared, right? Yeah. Like, oh man, I gotta buy pasta, I gotta buy non-perishables. And I walked out of there, but yeah, I was back in March and we're like 3 months away from that exact point. Mm-hmm. Yeah, in December 19th. So yeah, that was the last time I was there. So I can't wait to get some comedy, whether here, whether there. But yeah, I'd be looking forward to putting something on and inviting those guys because they can do comedy in English and Spanish. Yeah. Maybe have a bilingual backyard comedy show because those guys are hilarious. Like my Spanish, like I said, isn't that great. I can understand it, but you know, they are hilarious. Those guys are super talented. It sucks that they're building a really great scene that, you know, just put the whole stop to it, you know, because even when I went to that show, it was packed. And I remember the first time we went was like, 3 years ago. And it was outside.
It was a like little hole in the wall bar.
Yeah. Hole in a warehouse industry sector. Yeah. Like maquiladoras everywhere, bro. Like, yeah. And out in nowhere. Now that they're doing it in a bar right down Justo, I think. And
you know, the good thing what I like about him is that how, you know, when we went, I remember Julio was like super friendly, like super nice. He gave us a ride back to the border, and you know, it was you know, you could tell like they're really excited to get this thing going and making connections, making sure people know that what they're doing, and they knew that, you know, we were kind of serious about it. So like he was like talking to us about it and stuff like that. So and you know, like I talked to Eder and Eder Rivera, and I interviewed him, and you know, because I wanted to get the word out there about the really cool stuff that they're doing out there and putting out there, and yeah, it sucks that, you know, they were like kind of like peaking and then this shit happens, but you know, hopefully once this is over, they can, you know, pick up where they left off, and I'm sure I'm sure they have tons and tons of jokes that they've come up during the pandemic, and it's gonna be awesome once we get back together.
They're funny and they're talented, and they got that, and you can't take that away. It's hard to be funny. You're funny. I'm funny. Like when you're funny, you're funny. Like funny is funny. Yeah. Like no matter what. And they got that. They got it. They got it. They'll be all right. It might take some time, but I'm really, just comedy in general. Like I said, that's a, you know, passion of mine that I'll always have, and always have respect for anyone who does comedy, English, whatever language. You know, you go up on stage and try to make people laugh, as my compa would say, con respeto, you know.
For sure.
I think we're past the hour now.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
no, but yeah, thank you again for coming on. Like I said, you know, we hadn't really talked, and I really enjoy, you know, sitting, especially when we do, you know, the podcast. You know, we go on random rants and this and that, but I really enjoy it. And they might be long and people might not like what we say, but I enjoy them. And this is when sometimes I'm selfish when it comes to my episodes. And this is one of my guilty pleasure episodes. And I get to talk to you and just rant because we have, you know, so many things in common and like stand up, you know, fighting and just.
Yeah. But I think we might talk. It might seem like we went from talking about YouTubers, boxing, but when it dove into like the division, the generational divides among social media platforms today. You know, I think we talk about. It might seem like random things, but when you kind of peel off a layer and dive a lot into it, there's some complexities and some really deep stuff that we're really discussing. So no, I think people, they might not think we're being serious, and maybe in a way because we're kind of lighthearted and joking, but we are. I think we're just so comfortable with it. We were talking the same way before we recorded. We'd be talking the same way if. Yep. We saw each other at a art walk, which by the way, I miss those too. Yeah. And so it's a whole nother topic though, but I think, people, I think people get it. They'll get it.
Yeah. I mean, but like I said, like for me, it's like, I really enjoy these. I look forward to them and maybe it's like once a year we'd get to do these, but or every 6 months, but I really enjoy them. Like I said, you were my first guest. And you're probably one of the reasons why I kind of like started this because, you went into the school board. So I thought, why not do it myself? Kept
it going. You kept the podcasting going and it's needed. It was needed, man. But you really kept it going, man. You've done a lot for not just Calexico, but, the entire valley, like real talk. Like you've really helped inform, people. And that's really, man, that's it. That's it, man. You've done great things.
Thank you. And you know what's something that's funny is you know how you can tell, like especially on YouTube, you can tell what episodes are being listened. And there's times where like your episodes will come up like, I got 5 views, I got 6 views, like so like people like I don't know, they might hear about you and then they'll Google you and like you'll come up on the podcast and. I was like, man, I wonder what people are looking into Gil right now. What did he say?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm polarized for some reason. I'm a kind of a polarizing figure. It's in some circles, and I don't know. I'll take it. Going back, change is uncomfortable, and I think I bring some change, and not maybe how I approach things, how I say things, and that might make some people uncomfortable, but. And me too. I like poking. I like poking at the hive sometimes, man. I like so But who knows? But no, man. I really anytime the opportunity I have to speak with you, man, I really appreciate it. So I want to thank you as well.
No. All right. Well, thank you. One there because it's an hour and 25 almost. But before we end today's episode, I want to remind everybody, like I've been doing these past 9 months, be safe, wear your face mask, social distance, wash your hands. I know it's going to be hard these next couple of months, especially with New Year's and Christmas, but we know we see what happened during Thanksgiving. The numbers are showing it right now. And we really need to stay away from each other just so that we can have a better Christmas, better New Year's next year. It's super hard, but it's needed. We see the numbers, we see hospitals being filled up, and we see especially what haunts me is the death numbers going up drastically, like week by week. So, and just thinking of that family that's not gonna have that loved one next Christmas, next birthday, it's super hard. So please be safe, take care of each other, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Keep hope.
All right, guys. Peace.
Thank you.